WNBA and the Indiana Fever did not want people to know that Caitlin Clark was going to be out for the season. I can tell you, from the very day that they decided to let that go public, everything has dropped off a cliff.
The WNBA is facing a crisis unlike anything it has dealt with before, and at the center of it all is Caitlin Clark. From the very moment her season-ending injury was made public, the league's fortunes dropped off a cliff. Ratings that had once been celebrated as historic are now tumbling, ticket sales have collapsed, and most shocking of all, the Indiana Fever have been forced to move games to Atlanta in what looks less like strategy and more like desperation.
People were trying to hang on to the possibility this whole time. Look, so many people stayed engaged with the team because they thought the cavalry was coming. She's coming back. We're going to have a fighting chance to win the WNBA championship. The Indiana Fever and the WNBA, they knew this.
For weeks, fans clung to the hope that Clark might somehow return, but once the truth was revealed, the excitement that fueled sold-out arenas and millions of viewers simply evaporated. What was once the league's golden ticket has now become its biggest vulnerability, and the fallout is plain for all to see. Before her injury, Caitlin Clark had transformed the WNBA into must-see television.
But before Caitlin Clark's season-ending injury, WNBA tickets were averaging $89. The moment she went down, price crashed nearly 30%, plummeting to $62 a seat. That's kind of crazy. And there's a lot of reasons for this, but obviously the biggest reason is Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark literally being out, and again, she's only on one team, but a very big chunk of the total attendance in WNBA is from the Indiana Fever.
Every Fever game was a headline event, with ESPN plastering her highlights across every platform. Packed arenas followed her on the road, and fans traveled across states just to witness her shoot logo threes and make plays that went viral nightly. Ticket prices soared, with Indiana games averaging nearly $90 per seat and some matchups reaching close to $1,000 on resale. But once news broke that Clark was done for the season, prices plunged by nearly 30%, settling at $62, and interest went silent almost overnight.
Moving arenas. So yeah, a lot of teams, whether it be the Lynx opening the Upper Bowl, whether it be the Wings, the Dream, the Sky, all of these teams moving games. All of these teams are moving games for the Indiana Fever, regardless of who it is. They all have to sell those seats. And a lot of people don't want to go, and it's super cheap. Like, it's a lot easier to fill a 10,000 seat arena without Caitlin Clark than to fill 20,000. So you're going to have to find a way to do it anyway, which is what a lot of people are going to be doing, trying to sell tickets. The seats for the playoffs, I would say the Indiana Fever playoff seats would have been, honestly, like nearly $1,000 in. I actually think had Caitlin Clark been playing, it would be nearly $1,000 into this game.
The Fever vs. Sky game with Clark and Angel Reese drew 2.7 million viewers, higher than some MLB primetime games. Without her, Fever vs. Mystics managed only 270,000, while other matchups struggled to top 130,000 viewers. For comparison, that is less than some high school state championships. The WNBA and the Fever front office knew Clark's season was over well before the announcement, but they delayed the news, dangling false hope in front of loyal fans. That gamble backfired, and the evidence is undeniable.
People felt like they were going to games thinking this team would have Caitlin Clark coming back to make a championship run. I mean, the perfect example, the game in Baltimore the other day with the Mystics. Nearly 3,000 fans decided not to show up, and they paid for the ticket.
In Baltimore, nearly 3,000 ticket-holding fans simply didn't show up, despite already having paid. That level of absence isn't casual disinterest, it's a statement. Fans felt misled, believing they were buying into a playoff push that Clark would lead. Instead, they were left with what many now call a watered-down product. The league's response? Move Indiana games to Atlanta. But does anyone truly believe shifting venues will restore excitement? Atlanta has struggled to fill seats for its own team, so expecting fans to pack arenas for an Indiana squad without Clark feels more like a public relations stunt than a solution. The truth is, the WNBA tied its entire wave of growth to one player. Without Caitlin Clark, the league is invisible in mainstream conversation. While stars like Aya Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and Angel Reese are elite talents, the harsh reality is that casual fans aren't tuning in without Clark. Even players appear to sense the shift, noticing emptier arenas and reduced national buzz. ESPN continues to highlight record growth, but everyone knows those